strength and honor.
Ridley Scott just confirmed that Gladiator 3 is happening. But the big question is, what era will it be set in? I was a bit unsure about checking out Gladiator 2 since the first movie is one of my all-time favorites, and I didn't want to mess with that perfect memory. But in the end, I couldn't resist, and I'm glad I gave it a shot. Even though there were a few rough spots, Denzel Washington definitely made it worth watching. Now, Ridley Scott, the guy who pretty much does whatever he wants, has announced in a recent interview that Gladiator 3 is definitely on the way. Given the performance in the rest of the world we've seen yesterday, there's certainly going to be a Gladiator 3. Gladiator 2 has made $400 million so far, and it's worth noting that it's doing great in a packed market, competing against heavy hitters like Wicked and Moana 2. If it had a bit more breathing room, it could have hit even bigger numbers. And the movie has generally received good reviews. And in fact, in a recent feature from Variety titled Directors Pick Favorite Films of 2024, Christopher Nolan named Gladiator 2 his top movie of the year. When asked why it stood out among all the films released in 2024, the Oscar-winning director praised Ridley Scott's experience and skill in delivering exactly what the audience wants. Nolan also mentioned Scott's brilliance and how he raises the game. He went on to say, Scott raises the game with the staging of his action. His incredible, hyper-observant multi-camera mise-en-scène masterfully wrestles the action into clear and jaw-dropping sequences after sequence. Nolan pointed out that despite Scott's immense success, his impact on the evolution of cinematic storytelling hasn't been fully acknowledged. He said, despite all his success, Scott's contribution to the evolution of cinematic storytelling has never been properly acknowledged. Christopher Nolan also highlighted the visual innovations that Ridley Scott and other directors from the 1970s brought to cinema. Nolan pointed out that critics at the time dismissed these innovations as superficial, failing to see how they changed the visual language of movies. He explained, the lavish photography and meticulous design brought new depth to the visual language of movies, mise-en-scène that could tell us what the worlds they portrayed might feel like. Nolan praised Scott's masterful approach to these innovations, noting that the same brilliance is evident in the opening shot of Gladiator 2. As for Nolan himself, he's had plenty of success with his own films, including Interstellar, the Batman trilogy, The Prestige, Memento, and Oppenheimer. While Oppenheimer is largely historically accurate with some fictional elements, Gladiator 2 takes much more creative liberty with its portrayal of the later ancient Roman Empire. Ridley Scott's first Gladiator movie wasn't exactly historically precise either, as Scott is known for adjusting events to fit his story, especially in historical epics. A major example from the first film is the public death of Emperor Commodus, played by Joaquin Phoenix, which contradicts the historical figure's assassination. In Gladiator 2, the story of Paul Mescal's character, Lucius, mirrors that of Russell Crowe's Maximus, focusing on themes of strength and honor. Lucius, having been separated from Rome and his mother Lucilla as a child, returns to the heart of the empire as an enslaved gladiator seeking revenge on the Roman general Acacius. As his journey unfolds, Lucius discovers that fate is unavoidable, and he must help free Rome from tyranny. This leads to the film's biggest historical departure, its ending, which veers significantly from what actually happened. In Gladiator 2, Lucius dramatically alters the course of ancient Roman history by ending Macrinus's regime prematurely. While Lucius and his mother Lucilla are both historical figures, their portrayals in the film differ greatly from reality. Lucilla was executed by her brother Commodus, and Lucius died as a child, long before the ages they appear in the movie. The film skips over the exact details of how emperors Geta and Caracalla rose to power, but it accurately places them in power during this time, following the death of Commodus. When Lucius returns to Rome after the conquest of Numidia and the death of his wife Arishot, he discovers that Acacius, the man he seeks to kill, is now married to his mother. Ultimately, Lucius doesn't kill Acacius, but learns of a plot for Acacius's armies to storm Rome and arrest the emperors. In a twist, Denzel Washington's Macrinus manipulates the brothers, leading to Geta's murder by Caracalla, followed by Macrinus killing Caracalla. After Macrinus kills Lucilla, Lucius kills Macrinus to stop him from taking control of the empire. Historically, Macrinus did succeed Caracalla after the latter brother's death and ruled for about a year. In Gladiator 2, Lucius prevents this from happening and, more dramatically, convinces the two armies to stand down. Lucius urges them to unite for the greater good of Rome, aiming to achieve the Dream of Rome, a vision of Rome as a republic as imagined by Marcus Aurelius. Lucius' speech seems to work, completely contradicting history, as the real Lucius had died long before this time, and no such change took place in reality. Gladiator 2 presents a scenario where Lucius's actions lead to a fundamental shift in history, implying that Rome might return to a republic after the deaths of major royals, filling the power vacuum with Lucius potentially leading the way. The movie hints that Lucius, while reclaiming his identity as the grandson of Marcus Aurelius, wouldn't want to become emperor but instead hopes to see the people rule through the Senate. He might even take a military position like Maximus or Acacius. However, this narrative completely rewrites history. In reality, Rome never became a republic again after the rise of Augustus in 27 BC, marking the start of the Roman Empire. After the fall of Mark Antony and Julius Caesar's assassination, the empire was ruled by emperors until its eventual collapse in the 5th century. The Western Roman Empire fell in AD 476, while the Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, continued until the 15th century. Gladiator 2 explores the decline of Rome, alluding to the economic, military, and governance issues that led to the empire's gradual collapse. However, the film suggests that Lucius might alter this trajectory, a major departure from the historical reality where no such systemic upheaval or return to a republic ever occurred. Gladiator 3 could definitely take inspiration from real history with a few tweaks, like Lucius still being alive and playing a major role. While Gladiator 2 ends on a hopeful note, with everyone seeming to embrace the dream of Rome, Lucius might face resistance from the remaining nobility. After all, the senators who supported Lucilla and reform were killed in the Colosseum, leaving a senatorial class where some may be eager to grab power for themselves. In real history, Macrinus was succeeded by Elagabalus, an eccentric teen emperor with a wild reputation for controversial behavior, including odd sexual and religious practices. Elagabalus would make for an intriguing character in Gladiator 3. The film could also explore potential religious conflicts and the challenges of running an empire as large as Rome, especially considered Acacius's concerns about the empire being too vast to sustain. Well, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Click the thumbs up and turn notifications on. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this and other exciting upcoming movies. And we'll see you in our next video.